We are particularly blessed by our ecclesiastical leader, that is our spiritual leader here at the Spiritual Empowerment Center. She has practiced as a religious science practitioner for the past 13 years, beginning her study of metaphysics in 1985. She has served on 2 core councils as an officer. She's also been the director of Junior Church and co-director of Youth Religious Science camps. She graduated from the Holmes Institute Graduate School of Conscious Studies in June of 2009, earning her master's of Consciousness Studies. She also holds a bachelor's degree in Human Relations and Organizational Behavior. She is a very successful magnet CEO of Management Dynamics, Inc., which is a consulting firm that specializes in leadership and organizational development, mediation, diversity and inclusion training. She's been doing that for 27 years. So she started when she was about 6. She is a former adjunct professor at Georgetown University in D.C. and a certified mediator. She has a book coming out to be released this summer entitled The Way to Perfect Freedom. But for the last few years, a little bit more than 4 years, she has been our spiritual leader. She was installed officially as our senior minister in December of 2009, and it is my esteemed pleasure and delight to introduce to you Reverend Michelle K.
Good morning. Good morning. Oneness. Oneness. You know, Jane called me late last night and said, she wanted me to check something out. I gave them an assignment. She wanted me to give her some feedback. And she said, how's the sermon coming? I said, interesting you would ask that. And I said, because it isn't. Sometimes you just have those blocks, or at least I do. And the reason why I think it was so challenging for me was because, oneness is what I know. Oneness is what I do. So how do you translate that into words so that other people can come along on the journey with you, so that other people can understand what that means? So it was a bit of a challenge for me. But everything is grist for the mill, yes? And so what that means is I'm teaching foundations class. Woo! Core concept number 1 is what? Oneness. Yep. Oneness. And the way that we present it, however, is this: that God is the source of all that is. And God is all that is. And everything in the universe is made of the God substance and is a unique, individualized expression of the one. Of the one. And so that's what I'm going to address today. Not only from our teaching, that being religious science, but also I like to go to the Bible, because there are some folks who come into this teaching and they have a biblical background. So I want to be able to relate to you as well as you're in that transitory state. And I quote John 17:21, that they all may be one, as you, Father, are in me, and I in you, that they also may be one in us. And those are the words of Jesus. And you know what a spiritual truth is? A spiritual truth is that which is true, not only in one philosophy, but it rings true in myriad philosophies. And all you have to do is investigate Buddhism, investigate Hinduism, investigate Taoism, investigate unity. And we're all saying the same thing, but in different ways. And this concept, we are all one, is a universal truth. So I'm going to talk about what the concept of oneness can do for us. Because our philosophy is one that enables us to live life more fully. We want a philosophy that is organic, that lives and breathes, and it has meaning and significance to our life. It's not something that is just, theological and there's no direct immediate application to the experiences that we have, but rather it helps us to form and co-create the experiences that we want and the experiences that we have. So the concept of oneness helps us understand that we live in a world where everything is connected to everything else. Everything we do, say, think, and believe affects others and the universe around us. So as we grow more spiritually, we learn how to transmute negativity, negative thoughts, words, emotions, and actions into positive ones. And you might not think that that's a big thing, that it's only helping you, but you know what? It is a big thing. It is a grand thing. Because thus we not only manifest a better environment for ourselves, but we also help create a world that works for everyone. A world that works for everyone. So if you, say for example, are in a situation where there's a lot of chaos and there's conflict going on, and if you are the calm in that storm, just your energy, just being, your presence, being in that space will calm things down, will have a calming and tranquil effect. We are that connected. Now, the other way we get it is usually when we are joyful. We have something to celebrate. We say that our happiness is contagious, because it is. You walk into a room, how many of you felt Deborah? Well, she could hardly contain herself. And I don't know about you, but it affected me. It affected me in a positive way. That's because we are all connected. And what happens to you happens to me. But we don't always realize that. I was editing a friend's new website. He's launching his ministry. And his ministry is about creating dialogue where there are points of conflict. All right? He wants to be a mediator, but on a very grand and global scale. So he says, Michelle, tear it up. Give me feedback. I know how to do that real well. I can work that red pen. And so what I said to him, I said, is you espouse these truths, but you don't give examples thereof. And his message is about oneness. It's about oneness. I said, you don't even give an example of oneness. What's happening in the world right now? So we pick up the phone, we talk. He said, well, all that nonsense going on in Egypt. And I said, do you know that that affects us? He goes, well, how? I said, well, the very way in which we live, the system of democracy, is being challenged around the world. That has implications for us. It was more noticeable when the economy started to take a downward turn in the United States. Did it not affect every place else? That's because we are all connected. And see, as soon as we get that, not only as individuals, but as a nation, as nations, as soon as we get that, some of the decisions that we make will be different, because we know that they'll have implications and consequences, not just for us, but for everyone else, because we are all one. The same is true in our households. Sometimes we have to bring it home.
Walking down the street.
The same is true in our households.